Hello,
Hello,
how are
can you
you?
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And now I can
Okay,
see you.
yes, sorry, how do you call the software asked me for updates.
Oh, yeah.
So I logged in on
Typical.
my phone. It was easier.
It's okay. Okay, now I have, I guess, your computer trying to go inside.
Yeah,
I, I,
probably.
I guess I get another request.
Okay. Then do you want me to turn that off?
As you prefer.
Let's see. Maybe yeah, it's easier on the laptop. Let's see.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me? Yeah, yes. Okay, can you try again? Yeah, 1 second. Um, how do I turn the... here. Okay, I didn't see the video. Okay. Now.
Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you fine and see you. So
Perfect.
everything is okay.
Yeah, perfect. I think it's better this way.
So, well, first of all, thank you for accepting to participate into this. As I told you, this is going
Thank
to
you for
be,
offering.
as I told you, this is going to be like I'm going to use as a case study so people can see how I run the session and how is the service from an insider perspective. So first of all, I want to just ask if there were any of the questions in the assignments that was not clear or something that you didn't understand.
Oh, I see you worked on the document. Yeah, I think there is a couple of questions I haven't answer maybe.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Uh, yeah, because uh, t- um, it took quite some time, and I think I didn't expect it to be this long. I wish I
Okay.
could go back. Like I did it on Tuesday, but I think which day is it today?
It's
Thursday. I did it on
Thursday. Yeah.
Tuesday, and I think I should have done it before, so I could reread and take a bit more time. Otherwise, I really like your documents. I really like the questions. Also, I think it helps have a vision, think about it. Um, yeah, it's very interesting. I really liked it. I just didn't expect it to take me this long, actually. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
it. But this is my fault. I should have looked at it before. So
But this is a good
it's just
feedback.
at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very busy time for me, and it keeps coming unexpected things. So I keep
Mm.
running, and it's a bit complicated, but I mean, it's like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's good feedback. I can make a note. So in the email, when I send it, I can tell, hey, just save some time because it maybe can take it longer. So thank you for the feedback. Okay, so how it's going to
Yeah.
be this process is first we are going to talk a bit about what you do and who you help or who you want to reach out to serve them. And then from there, we are going to check how you present your story and how you share your messaging. So it's connected to the people that you want to target and the offering that you have for them. Okay. So please
Yes.
let me know about, let's say, for example, if you go to a networking event, how you usually introduce yourself at the moment.
That's the thing is, my professional life is a bit complicated because I started working with my partner 5 years ago. He's a photographer and also a filmmaker, but
Mhm.
he was like when I started working with him, he was just a photographer and started video when I started with him.
Mhm.
And it's only the two of us, and I ended up doing a lot of technical stuff that I didn't expect to.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up learning the the job of photography, and it takes some times. And as the time went through, I wanted to do my own work as a photographer because I can never catch up 15 years of experience of somebody.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have clients on my at my level, because he has bigger clients which I help him on, but I didn't feel I had the skills to work on my own for this type of clients. So I wanted to start lower, like where I should have started in the beginning. And so I created a website so I could like started building a portfolio and show people's my work.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have very little time to work on my site because the job with my partner is taking me a lot.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I don't have many clients for now. It took me some time to figure out um, what I was feeling able to do and what I wanted to offer services. The thing
Mm-hmm.
is, we work for a bigger company, and with this business, I wanted to focus on smaller, like entrepreneurs.
Okay.
The thing is, I know entrepreneurs don't necessarily have the budget to go with a professional photographer for images, but I know some of them at some points are ready to upgrade their image. And so this is not a business I will leave 100% out of because I know it will be complicated for
Mm-hmm.
the how to say the client's needs and what they're really willing to spend. It's a side business.
Okay.
Um, Also, yeah. So that's why it took me some time, and I'm only starting to say to people that I'm a photographer. Like
Okay.
it's a really long process to learn and really long process to feel like I have enough skills, or there are in some situation I don't say it, and some situation I say it because it depends how I feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why until now presenting myself was a bit complicated, and I was always like I work with my partner who makes photo and videos. I never
Okay.
presented myself yet as a freelancer. I'm just on the verge of doing it. So that's why I find your offer very interesting because I felt that's what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so for now it's more until now I was like saying I work in how to say I rarely say it in English actually. But in photography or like with my partner, we make photo and videos for the tourism industry. That's what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But I know this is like I need to change now, and I think I feel uh, just ready
Mm-hmm.
to be a bit more confident in my speech. So yes. So for
Perfect.
now, I was really, really bad presenting myself.
Okay. I want to ask you a couple of questions. First, I would like to know like what kind of task do you do with your partner in the company of your that you have together?
Yes. Yeah. So I care a lot about the organization,
Mm-hmm.
like putting together shootings for a client, following up the project, so like a bit of a project manager. Also gear prep, I'd say other rush we shots put on the hard drive, do the backup, helping him with the selection and pre post-production work. He finalized it, but I like an assistant in every field.
Mm.
Also, I'm often the model on some photos. I also all year round do some I think the word in English is benchmark. a lot of research on
Okay.
what is done in the industry to
Okay.
find ideas to present to the clients. Um, we both come up with ideas, we combine them, but we have two different ways of looking for them, so we were complementary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so a lot of that, then a lot of administration, a lot of accounting as well, like all the bills and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
following up with the clients. Like my profile at the beginning is a lot in the organization. I study production management in audiovisual.
Mm-hmm.
This is also my personality. I'm very structured, organized. This is something easy for me to anticipate. This is the way I am. So naturally, like put somebody like me with a creative, it makes a nice combo. So
Nice.
they're very complementary. But we had a lot of work, and I had to work the technical part to help him also take photos. So I also take shots, like we
Mm-hmm.
spread it depending on the skills of each of us. And for the videos, I also do the secondary footage.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a,
Okay.
a bit of everything. It's like a production company, but just the two of us. So it's really everything.
So you wear a lot of different hats, I guess.
Yes, 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 yes. When you're
Um,
freelancer, you have to, and doing photos and videos is so many jobs. Like I used to work on film shootings, and we were like the smallest team was like 70 people on the shooting, but then there is also the people in the post production. So like right now we're like downsizing the team for different projects because we work also outdoors, and the team needs to be very light and flexible. So
okay. So when you decided to study production management?
right after I passed my A level, I was like 18, so I studied from 18 till 20.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Australia for a year and a half. I traveled, but couldn't really find work in my fields. And then I came back to France, started doing some internship, and then one day somebody called me, and once you know somebody in the industry, if you work well, they call you back always. So
Mm,
yeah.
nice. Nice.
And my life
So,
is a bit spread out. Like I don't have one field. Like I was working on film shooting, but as I traveled, I also work in the tourism. Like I did any job really, and I like changing jobs. So at for a few years, I was working like in the winter as a receptionist, and in the summer for film shooting. And I really like changing businesses environment. It makes me very flexible, and I learn jobs fast because I'm used to change all the time. So yeah.
nice. Yeah, but it was you were studying that related to visuals production. So you were interested in the industry before
Mm,
meeting your partner and all that, right?
So oh yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
at the beginning, my idea was to be video editor.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I applied for the study, they I applied for video editor, but also the production management side because I know it was also my skills, and they selected me for the production manager but not for the editing.
Mm.
So it wasn't really my choice at the beginning, but in the end I was happy because I have the the how to say, I don't like sitting on the desk all day.
Mm.
I like to move around a lot, and I didn't realize video editing was only being inside in a dark room on the computer all day long. Also, I do it quite a lot, but I'm also outside, and I prefer that much more. Yeah.
Mm. Nice. Okay, let's talk a bit about the people that you want to try to help now with your new
Yes.
business. So, which kind of people have you worked already with some of them? Tell me a bit about that part.
Yes. 1 second.
Yeah,
Just hold on 1 second. Sorry.
yeah, don't worry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, okay. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
So
It's okay.
so the people I would like to work with,
Mhm.
um, so I think I would like to work with like entrepreneurs, like they have small businesses. I don't really know how to describe them. Um, I'm a lot surrounded by this type of person because there is more and more, I think, people
Mhm.
doing their business on their own.
Mhm.
And there is also a lot of like Facebook group communities. And when you're a freelancer, you're a lot by yourself. So I'm in many groups like that. And it's also I like helping people. So, and when they're freelancers, they're like good at what they want to sell, but they don't necessarily have the skills for other stuff. And there's so many things to learn, like it's
Mhm.
endlessly. So, yeah, it's always feel like the needs when I have the skills they don't, I want to help. Um, so that it comes naturally to me because I understand their what they do and how they do their environment, their work stages. I understand. Um, yeah, so that's why I wanted to try to put some packages for entrepreneurs. I wanted to launch their business or upgrade the image of their business. And so that's one part. Also, I would love to work for do the images for some retreats. Also, I'm not
Mhm.
sure how to market like find it.
Mhm.
Also because a lot of retreats sometimes they try to have an exchange, like the
Okay.
photographer do the photo and he can participate in the retreat, but what they don't understand that is that when you do the photo, you cannot participate in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So this is, but I know there will be some retreats that would be interested, and events. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
comfortable working on events, like doing photo reports, and also I tried to say it in the documents, but I saw many recently many events or um, not organization, but like I'm in the outdoors, so also some expedition made
Mhm.
by women, only for women. And every time what I see is that the technician or the gear part is always men.
Mm.
So for me, it's like, okay, I know we are not that many in the industry, but they are women. So if your message is to empower women, then do it all the way. And
Mm.
I would like to like tell them, look, I'm here and I can do it if you want to have that message all the way.
Yeah. Mm.
So yeah, that's also some.
Nice.
And when I was working in the film industry, I was working a lot also because I was a woman and there is not that many and they like to have mixed teams.
Mhm.
So yeah, I know I had a lot of job also just because of that.
Mhm. Okay. And you told that you made the photos of some friends of yours. So have you also have some kind of experience with other entrepreneurs? It could be paid or not paid, but I mean
Yeah,
experience with
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So when I wanted to start working on by myself, I was like, okay, I need to build up a portfolio. So I on my own. So I did a few things for free, and I did a few things where I was paid as well. So for entrepreneurs, yes, I have, and funnily, it's mostly women actually, but that wasn't something I chose. It was just happened like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think also, like, to finish the one before,
Mm-hmm.
uh, being taken in picture when you are not comfortable. Sometimes if you're a woman, maybe you don't want to have a man photographer. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I can understand that as well. Um, So yeah, so I had entrepreneurs. I had one, two, three entrepreneurs and two how to say artisan craftsmen,
Okay.
people who do things like build things with their hands.
Mm-hmm.
One was renovating furniture, which
Okay.
was also an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
and one is like an artist, but that's somebody from the family of my boyfriend. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if that counts.
Yeah, yeah, because it doesn't matter if it's I mean if they are paying or not. I mean the experience of working with them that you have had and
Yeah,
with which projects
yes.
you feel more comfortable, how is the result that you get and all that. So you have the experience even if maybe they were a different agreement and it's not a paid work for them. Mm, okay.
Yeah. hmm
Um, yeah.
Since it wasn't paid, they didn't really necessarily need the photo as well, so they
Okay.
wouldn't have gone through a process of taking a photographer. Um, not all, but one, yes, but she wouldn't have the money. And one, I met her actually because she was looking for a photographer. Um, she's a coach, sports coach.
Mhm.
She arrived in where I live, so she was new and she was looking for a photographer to do her communication. And I did three photo shootings with her paid and one video. Like now she became a friend a little bit, and I'm in the process of doing also videos by myself. Also a bit new, so I know she likes images a lot, and I told her, look, I need to train, so if you want, because I don't like doing things that are not used. Like it's a lot of time to take photos and videos, so might as well be used. So yes, I did my first video with her just like a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
So
And
yeah.
where is using those photos and videos?
Most of the time is the internet, like social media and websites. Yeah.
Okay. Because that also something to think about when you create your package. So maybe
Yeah.
makes sense
Mm-hmm.
to, let's say, if you have a website but you want to renew the pictures, or if you want a
Mm-hmm.
package where you are, I know some people they are offering some kind of, let's say, every 3 months we go together, we make a session, and you got a bunch of photos, and then you can use them through these months, and it's just once every 3 months or something like that. They are doing this kind of uh yeah, day or 2 days where they are shooting a lot of pictures. So maybe that could be a way. And about the entrepreneurs that are or not interested in pay, maybe you need to think about how to communicate. So you are attracting people that are in the stage of their business where they know that is valuable and they need to invest into that and they are okay with that. So maybe
Yeah.
if it's like two
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
beginners, they don't have the budget, even if they see the value. So maybe it's interesting to try to check the language that you use in your communication and how you present the package and all that to an audience that is ready to
Mm-hmm.
invest into that kind of services.
Yeah. I think there are two options. Like one will be some they are launching, but have prepared their launch, so they have prepared also the budgets, so they would do
Mm-hmm.
it right away.
Uh-huh.
And some they cannot, and they will do it after, sometimes when their business has evolved enough. So I think there is two steps really.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I think it depends on, let's say, for example, if it's just for the website or if it's a social media kind of package. Because then when you are investing in social media packages, it's because you know that it's something more recurrent. It's not just one time, but the website could be just one time and then it's no. That's something also to consider
I think
because
is
yeah,
I thought
go
I
ahead.
would have thought the opposite. Like on the website is convey your image and it's here to stay.
Mm,
Rather one Instagram post is like when it's posted, then it's gone. And, like nobody really goes back on it. But people use photos for both. If they put
yeah.
it on the website, they would put it on the social media. They don't really the separate the stuff, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, what I meant with the social media kind of package is because I think maybe could attract people that are more prepared to invest like more recurrently because it's not just one time, it's something that
Yes.
maybe can be every I
Yeah.
don't know how many
Yeah.
months. But yeah, but both of the things
Yeah.
are interested and needed. So yeah. Have you thought about focusing on a specific kind of audience? I mean, if they are going to be a certain kind of service providers or they are going to be have physical businesses or just online or coaches or have you thought about who to try to focus on?
Yeah. I think there is for me, I don't think I'm gonna choose just one. For me, there is like and there is entrepreneurs I want to um, upgrade their image. So they would need like portraits of themselves, because as an entrepreneur, you often need to talk about yourself because people will choose your service because of your personality or your values. So showing your face is very important as well. So there is a bit like the portrait side, but
Mhm.
can be also product if they sell the product, or illustrating a service. So I
Okay.
did actually all of them in my portfolio. And I think every time I go, even if it's for a place or a service, and I am with the entrepreneur, I always do portraits as well of the person. So I think it's important to put the human
Mm,
behind. For me,
yeah.
this is a part of what I think and what I convey. So, but showing, yeah, I did services. I did so sports coach. My sister who starts her business of uh, wow, how to say in English? Uh, Coaching with using the horses.
Okay.
Uh, in French it's équicoach, coach, but
Okay. Yeah, I
I
understand what
really
you
never
meant.
looked at how it's called in English. Yeah, yeah. So she
mean,
does
okay.
it's a lot with intuition, meditation, stuff. So this is a service. Um, Also, a friend is a psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I didn't take the picture of the service really on that one. I made portrait and photos of her place where she
Okay.
works.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yes, and then I had some products, And one was also a yoga teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more photo of her doing yoga. We
Mm-hmm.
could have done a session with students and everything, but it requires people and stuff, and it didn't happen for now. But yeah, I did all the three parts. I think for me, for the entrepreneur, it would be portrait and service, or portrait and products. Depends what they do, but the
Okay.
portrait part is always needs to be there, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Okay. My suggestion will be that you focus your communication in one kind of this, not in the three of them. And then you always have the
Okay.
opportunity to, let's say, for example, you focus on service providers that they are personal brands and they are the face of their company and their business, so they need to show themselves. And you will always
Yeah.
have the opportunity to have people asking you, hey, you can do my products, and you can say yes if you feel
Yeah.
that is convenient for you and you have the room for that and that. But in general, usually when you start, it's easier if you focus on something specific, because then it will be easier that the people know you for doing that specific thing. And for example, I always go with the I sometimes use the sample of the lawyer. If you are, let's say, going through divorce, I am going to look for a lawyer that is specialized in divorces. If, let's say, I am doing
Yes.
another kind of stuff, I am going to ask for someone that is specialized in that. So if you are a lawyer that do several different things, if I am looking for someone and is the other that is specialized, I will go with the other, because
Yes.
I will have the
Yes.
feeling that that person is more prepared, is know better the needs of these specific things and that. So in general, usually it's easier to start. It doesn't mean that you cannot branch out, and it doesn't mean that you cannot
Yes.
take other kind of projects if you are interested or if you like. But when you communicate, try to focus on something specific. It could be easier for positioning. This, of course, just a
Yeah. I
suggestion.
thought that. Yeah, yeah. I was yeah, I understand that, and that's why I tried to, because at the beginning I didn't know how I wanted to do photos, like for who and what. It came after, and I thought that the entrepreneur, like portraits, product or service, but the would be the one thing actually. I didn't think of it like it separates. Mm,
Mhm. Yeah. So, for example, let's say if you focus on the portraits of people that they are their own face of their businesses, so they are personal brands. In that case, is your communication will be in a direction. Let's say you are
yes,
focusing on the
yeah,
products, so you can create content around how you can do different things, be creative around the product picture, or give an example of how to take a picture with your phone, or wherever it can be. So it is like two different roads, because let's say for the portraits or for the personal brands, you can show like different posts that they can take, or different suggestions about how to make it like match with your colors of your brand, or things like that. So you can have like
yeah.
different
But this
pieces of
is,
content.
are you talking for social medias?
It could be social media, or it could be anywhere that you are talking about what you do, or giving advice, or talking to people. So, in general,
Mm-hmm.
when you communicate about your services, if you are going to be talking about topics that are related to the service that you offer. That will be a way also for positioning you. Are you going to have, or do you have already, the social media, or which is the main strategy that you think you are going to follow?
So for now, the Instagram is like, I think I need to start another account that is only professional photo,
Mhm.
because for now it's too mixed of me or my work, and it doesn't work. So I need to separate them. But the thing is, I also have social media for the activity with my partner. So at the beginning, I didn't want to have too many, because otherwise I will not do it,
Yeah,
because I have my own work to focus on, and all the social media can be a whole job by itself. So
yeah,
I need to, but that's the same thing. I cannot do one Insta for product, one Insta for portrait, one
mm,
Insta for events. It's too much, and also I would never have enough content to put
yeah.
so regularly on the three of them. So
Yeah, of course. I would
yeah,
not suggest you to go with three accounts for three different services. I would suggest to just use one, even your personal one. If you are okay with that, I will use just that one where you are sharing part which is related to your work and some part which is related to your personality, to your values, to what is more important to you. So I will, if it's okay for you with your the content that you share in that account, I will go with just one. Also, at the beginning, I will not try to. If you are focusing on one of the things, let's say portraits or let's say products, I will not share content about both. I am just going to share about one of those and try to keep it like that for a while where you are positioning in one of those. That will be my suggestion to make things
okay,
simpler and easier for you to position yourself as, let's say, the woman entrepreneur that they are personal brands and they want to improve their presence online. So you can be the photographer for them. And if you are interested in events, if you are interested in retreats, maybe it makes sense to look at which kind of professionals they are doing that kind of things, which kind of communities they are creating events where you can be the one doing the photo for them. For example, here in my city there are a community, and usually there is a photographer that she's always the one that take care of the pictures in that kind of events. And she took some picture for me and for other of the people. So from the same community, we know that she's a photographer, so we can ask her for help. So that could be a way for you to get known. So that's why I would think, okay, which kind of communities they are making retreats? Maybe it's a coach or course creators or things like that, and then I can go there and network with them, and they know me as the photographer. So yeah, going back to the idea of the accounts, I would not have several of them. I agree with you. That could be just a whole work in themselves. So yeah, I would try to simplify as much as possible, especially at the beginning, especially if you already
yeah,
have short time.
yeah. But it's I found it. That's what I wanted to do, but then doing it, I'm like, uh, it's hard to see for me how separate both, and I see also the reaction of the people, and they are not interested in the same thing. So
Mhm.
because also my life is very spread out. Like I do so many different things. I live partly in the mountains, partly by the seaside where I grew up. It's two totally different world, different people. Um, so this is already complicated
Mhm.
to mix, but I can manage. Uh, uh, but the part of being myself on the photos and some part showing photos that I would do and some in things completely not related, it starts to become really, 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 really spread out. So yeah, that's why I was thinking, okay, maybe I should keep the outdoor, longboard dancing, personals, seaside and mountainside for one account, and then one account for the production work. Maybe I could manage that because I'm not looking at um growing such a big community on the professional accounts. Just it would be maybe like some kind of portfolio, more people will know me through my personal account, and then they will want to see my work, I think, and will click on that. So maybe that's something I can manage. Um, because otherwise I don't see the strategy uh being cohesive for the rest. And if it's too spread out,
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I have several things to comment here. So you can have an account where you are sharing the pictures that you made, but also sharing the onboarding and having those as in the method that I use for personal brand. We have up to 3 topics that are related to your services, and then up to 3 topics that are not related to your services. And they are just,
On one account.
yeah, on one account where you are sharing things that are related to your lifestyle or the things that are important to you. And the thing that you can do is generally connect those, use them as a way to create examples, to talk about your services or to talk about things that are important for you and for the business.
Would
For
it be,
example,
yeah, would you have some account to show me that have so many different subjects and that are cohesive? Because I cannot picture it. That's something, yeah.
yeah, for example, I give you an example just explaining. So for myself, I have personal brand. I talk about personal brand and about the course creators, coaches, and service providers. But then I have nature as another topic that is unrelated to my services, but is like my way of self-care is going to nature. So I am sharing about that, but at the same time, I am connecting those. So when I talk about my framework is called nature, and I am using, for example, a lot of pictures where I am in nature and things like that. So can be combined in the way of having 2 different things. Let me think about someone else. It doesn't need to be in the feed, like in the feed of this Instagram, for example. It could be in the stories. For example, there are one lady that she is a coach, a business coach, but then she's sharing about the workout that she does because that's her way of getting out the stress, and every day she's doing that, and she's sharing that routine every day in her social media. He's sharing how she's now, I am going to the gym, I am doing this, and is connecting though with the business in the way of how she's using in her life. So even if it's unrelated, like going to the gym doesn't have to do anything with the work that she does as a business coach, she's connecting those and can create examples. For example, sometimes I use the sample of if I go hiking, the lessons that I got, how they are connected to when you have a business and when you have a goal, and how you need to know yourself to get to the top of the mountain, and how you cannot run because then you are not able to finish the things and all that. So you can use as a way to create examples that are different. In your case, you can bring how, for example, you shared that you were a shy person. So that is something interesting to share about, okay, from being a shy person to be a model and to be someone that do the longboarding dance. So I can later I can look for specific examples to for you to have an overview.
Yeah,
But
I would love to. Yeah.
okay.
It's
Okay.
very interesting. I really like it.
And the good thing about that, for example, someone that I know, she's a VA, a virtual assistant, and she loves football. She's a soccer player, and she's sharing pieces of that in her Instagram, which is totally unrelated, but it's so different that I remember because I haven't seen a lot of people sharing about that. So it's also a way to make memorable because
Yeah.
so for
So
example, yeah,
just the overall um speech or direction of the Instagram account would be business,
yes.
but then brings personal stuff, but it's always through the business eyes, if I understand.
Yeah, that's the way I would try to do it to keep like both of the side, but having in mind like the
Because I think
business
for
side.
now mine is more personal,
Okay.
and sometimes I think that's what I need to change probably. But
Mm,
then also I guess for now, people who follows me are mostly my friend, people I met traveling, people
mm,
I met through the longboard dancing, or people are interested in outdoors.
mhm,
So for now, they're not into the photo
mm,
mm, business
mm.
side. So
Yeah, I see.
maybe that's why I was thinking, should I start another one?
Mm.
Uh,
You
yeah, I'm not
can
sure.
start because the people that so usually it's the visuals, or you are also sharing like writing content and things like that.
Yeah, I try to write something
Okay.
under, but I'm not posting that much. But I am starting a community management training at the beginning of the year. So we will work on the strategy of everything of that. And hopefully with this, the goal was to start being active on social media through also my account, but also the professional account with the business with my partner.
Mhm. I have seen this, but usually for service providers that are not so visual as a photographer. But there are a trend, let's say, where on Instagram you have an account where you have just the nine grid feed with
Yeah.
what you do, who you are, testimonials, things
Ah,
like
yeah, yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the highlights. So if you want, you can have one account that is just as a portfolio there,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
and then you can combine, like, let's say some content from your personal content that could be there or something. But that's a way to do
Mm-hmm.
it. Let's say, for example, if you are going to focus your marketing into the networking and the communities and things like that, you can have your social media, your Instagram as a portfolio that lives there, and then maybe having some stories that are fresh with new stuff and things like that. But you have a grid that is like prepared for when people arrive
Yeah,
there. This is a portfolio. So that's another
yeah, yeah.
solution that you can go or try or think about. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So let's go to the pieces of your story. So now that we have more or less an idea
The big picture.
of who to try to reach out. Um, you mentioned in your document that you usually take the lead for them, so they don't know what they need to do around in the service, and you are the one leading the organizing it and taking care of everything. How do you do that, and what is different in the way that you do it?
Um, So I guess it was for what type of photo they want, right? Maybe.
It is it's not so important for what it is more about. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was when I asked you about the service and who you help. So there you mentioned that you take, so they
Okay.
know they have their expertise, but then you are the one taking care of this part.
Yes, because it's related to the fact that entrepreneurs have so many things to care about and little time. So usually they are expert in their fields, but then they don't have the time to train themselves for the rest. So as I work with my partner for a bigger brand and that I do that all year round. Um, I use the things I learned for that for smaller entrepreneurs. Like they don't necessarily need to go very in depth in their communication or not as much as big companies like Nike or Apple. But I am like not that I'm working for Nike or Apple, but a lot of company use the same process or use communication agency. So I have some techniques of like I said, benchmarking or trying to anticipate what's gonna be next or what is working visually or for social media and stuff. That's uh, as I have this experience, I can easily put it for smaller entrepreneurs that don't necessarily have the time or the skills or the needs to go in depth. Yeah, so a lot of research trying to understand their values. Sometimes they are not aware of. They have some, but they are not aware they are have values.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, some question like often they just tell you they need photos, but then you ask them, but what do you want to convey through your photos?
Mm.
And they didn't even think about it. And sometimes they give me an answer, but for me, because like I cannot just take picture, I need to understand. Like you do with me, it's the same I do with my client because this is more than photos. You can show one thing in 10 different ways, and sometimes they give you an answer because they think it is this, but then as I talk to them and I get to know them personally, it's like I not that I know them better than themselves, but a little bit. I have another vision and I'm like, okay, this is what he told me, but this is not quite what he needs or what fits him. And I adjust a little bit. I'm very like I'm not manipulating. I'm very try to be empathetic, but as I was not comfortable on photos, I put myself in their shoes all the time and I'm very careful with the image of the person. Everything goes online. I'm always like even with the work with my partner, we do portraits of people for brands. So in most cases, they wouldn't have a voice to what we shot and what we edit. But to me, it's very important that they see the final result before it goes out because this is their image and once it's on the internet, it's gone. You cannot do anything anymore. And I think this is very important. And I'm very careful for the people. Like I put myself in their shoes. I'm like, would I want this photo to be out and show this of me? And yeah, that's what and sometimes also, as I mentioned, I try to understand who they are, how they function, what they like, and also people don't have um, the visual uh, they don't realize what they bring to people.
Mm.
They don't realize their value, their strengths. They do it naturally. This is why it comes. And they don't realize it's specific to them or it's not given for everyone. and I like to show that as well.
Nice. And tell me a bit about because you said that you were not comfortable with pictures. So do you have a specific memory of sometimes that someone was taking picture of you and you were not
All the
comfortable?
time. I think I will also have photos of myself when I was small, just hiding all the time. Like I think my parents have 10,000 stories about that. But yeah, I really, I was very, very, very shy. And when I met my partner, who was a photographer, I think it took him 5 years of being with me to before being able to take photos of me. So,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
after we kind of needed it professionally, and at the beginning was like small at the background. So I was like, okay, I go for this time, and then it was a need, and I learned because there are techniques to appear better on photos. Also, I learned them for myself, but I need to learn them to explain it to people
mhm.
because it's not the same for everyone also. And and at the beginning the photo they were not working. So we were always checking, trying, checking, trying, checking, and every time I was like maybe doing something differently, and then it was working at some point, and now I know we both know how to do it, but it takes some time, yeah.
Mm.
So
How
I have
you
a lot
bring
of
how you bring that experience of trial error that you did to now when you start working with someone, how you do that process of trying with them different things in a short period of time.
so for now, I think I miss experience because I need to practice more. To be honest, I don't know yet exactly the tips for it to work quickly
No, no,
and for everyone.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean not quickly, but let's say when you have done these works, you have some conversation with them, getting them ready for the pictures
Mm,
or what?
not really. To be honest, they need to be comfortable with me first. So I know the first photo will be just like for nothing.
Okay.
Uh, it's like um because people are used to like smile and stare at the camera, but to have natural expression. They just need to live the moment with me as if I don't have the camera. So,
Mm.
and this takes sometimes you cannot speed up. So
Yeah.
at the beginning we do normal stuff, and then after a while we keep talking of different stuff, and then they realize I'm not a big monster and they feel comfortable, and then they relax a little bit and they are a bit more themselves. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, but that was what I meant. It's not about how quickly you can do it. It's about
Mm.
what is the process that you have with them. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
tell me,
I
like
think
yeah,
I
talk,
think I
talk, you
should
know?
I could have more process, but the photo I started more with landscape,
Mm-hmm.
and yet I need to practice more with people.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not. This is not my. Also, I think it's important having the person. I'm more comfortable with like photo, like reportage, like on events and stuff. It's just like, but creating photo portraits for people, also because I know it's complicated, and also for me it's complicated to do it. Yet I want to have more techniques and more experience so I could help people better. So I'm training for that, but I'm not yet. This is not my specialty.
Mhm. Okay. But yeah. So this is like about being comfortable in camera, and how was for you the experience of putting yourself. So you told me that when you were a child, you were hiding of pictures, so you don't have
Yeah.
pictures of yourself as a child?
I do, but I was like either hiding my face or not really smiling because I like my parents forced me for the picture, things like that. Yeah.
Okay, because that's a nice way to show how you understand people that they don't want to be in camera,
Mm.
because
Mm.
it's like a
Okay.
connection. When you were in, like when
Yeah.
you were a child, you were hiding, you were feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you know from her, like, okay, is why you need to take the pictures because of your business, but then maybe you are not comfortable with being on
Yeah.
camera. So that's one thing that you can highlight. And also how, for example, tell me a bit about working specifically with women, because you told that there is a lot of men, and for example, if they are treated, they are just men technicians and things like that. So tell me a bit about that.
I don't know what to say. Uh, what do you want to know?
Yeah, for example, do you have some experience where you feel more comfortable when you were surrounded by other females
Um,
or things like that?
mm, Sometimes yes. I think it works for everything. Like I do longboard dancing, and there is a female community that works to empower women and to create safe space so they can come practice and then feel comfortable in the regular mixed places because there is a lot of men in the skateboards and yes. So I think it's a good way to build confidence. Um, yeah, self-confidence, being surrounded with people you feel comfortable with.
Mhm.
And then with this confidence, you can then feel better in different environments.
Mm.
Yeah, and I guess for personal stuff like health and everything, I feel personally more comfortable um, uh, with women
Mhm.
that also share sometimes the same experience or closer to ask advice or to be intimate because I personally am uh, also shy on that part. So sometimes I think it's easier just to be with somebody that you connect, you feel closer in the situation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. And tell me a bit about longboard dancing. How did you get involved into that?
Um, so longboard dancing at the beginning, I saw a video on internet and I thought it was so beautiful. But I figured that to be able to do steps on the board, you need to have a super high level of skateboard already, which I didn't. I tried skateboarding when I was small and I fell. It was like a really bad experience, didn't work, so I gave up. And then I saw the video, I was maybe 23 or something like that, quite old already for studying something like that. And so I gave up the idea, thinking it's too late to be super good at skateboarding to then try longboard dancing. And um, I think like 7 or 10 years, 7, something like that, years later, um, I started cruising with my boyfriend. We snowboard together. He had skateboards, and we started cruising just around the lake or something. And um, I was using his skateboard, didn't have a board myself, so he bought me one. But he remember I really like longboard dancing, so he chose a board that was big enough for me to try steps of longboard dancing. So when I knew it was possible on that board, I took YouTube video of a tutorial, and I told you, look, give me your hands, and I tried the steps, and it it works. Like out of nowhere, I could do the steps, and I was very surprised that it came so easily. So I was like, okay, if I can do that, maybe it's possible then. And I started training. I found one, not really training, but practicing a little bit, and quickly I found communities online. I mean, online I found the communities, but the communities were in cities.
Hmm.
And because I live in the mountains where it's not very easy to practice skateboard and far away from cities, we were on holiday to Barcelona, and I was like, okay, I was looking for people there to take a lesson because it was my only chance to learn. And I found a women community there that did an event, and I took the photos for, and that's how I discovered the longboard dancing community. So there is different communities. There is mixed one that meets every Sunday, but also this one is already um, welcoming and quite safe place. Is for
Hmm.
all longboarders to practice together, and naturally, like if you have asked a question, somebody will show you stuff. And then there is also the community that is longboard girls crew, and it's also in the big cities, and sometimes they, like in Lausanne, close to where I am, I know they do a meeting on every Monday. They do initiation workshop and stuff. And I think I like to practice longboard dancing, but I like it more thanks to the community. And I think it's very like 50-50 for me. If it was just for longboard dancing, maybe I would, it's fun, but that's it. And because of the community, like you go there, they don't ask you for your age, for your job, for whatever. They just ask you, oh, when did you start longboarding? And that's it. And what do you learn? What do you want to learn? Or that's it really. And you share a passion no matter anything else. And I think that's cool. That's really cool. You feel
Yeah.
good, you meet people, and you share a passion. So it is very empowering to be in a community where you don't feel judged, you can be yourself, and you're at your own level. That's also what I like, that is one spot for every level. Like in snowboards, you cannot, like if you don't have the same level, the other person is gone far away, and that's it. But here you practice at the same, and you can be next to the champion and be a total beginner.
Nice.
Yes.
Do you think that idea of the community and how you got help from them can be related to your idea of working with community of women entrepreneurs and how they support each other?
Yes, I guess I found lately I try to find communities of everything, like of freelancers, women freelancer, but not only like I like women stuff, but I like also when it's mixed. It cannot be only
Mm-hmm.
women. Sometimes I think it's too much in the only woman thing.
Okay.
But I think it's also good that there is some
Okay.
for for yeah, for building self-confidence. But myself are like shared in between. Like I don't really go very often to the longboard girls school session, but I go most often to the mixed session. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I feel as comfortable there, so that's good. But I think it's good that there are some um, provided spaces to start to yeah to I think it's good. Just sometimes it goes too far in the feminism stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
Okay.
but this is my own opinion.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me a bit about when you start working with your partner. at the beginning
Hmm?
of that moment? How,
Yeah.
what was the challenges for you?
Oh, many, many, many challenges because we started working together, not really knowing how, uh, what, like he was a photographer. He wanted me to work with him for a long time, but I didn't figure, like I couldn't picture how. And then we decided to go for it, and we had an idea that didn't happen this way at all. But eventually I find my way. At the beginning, I think working with him was more challenging on the communication because he was used to work by himself.
Mhm.
So it was a learning curve to express things when you usually don't have to. So thinking about, okay, I need to say something. What is it exactly? I'm not sure.
Mm.
But then, yeah, we are good communication together.
Mhm.
So year after year, it improves. Then also it was my for me the start of being entrepreneur. So
Mhm.
all the paperwork, administrative, everything I discovered. Um, Also, my issue was like he already had clients that he was working for like 5 years or something, so they had expectations.
Mm.
I started all the way around. Like usually you learn something, you start to have uh, gigs and then paid gigs and then you grow. But for me, I was like already arrived in a place where clients had high expectation, where it's something I didn't um how to say control.
Mm. Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I need to learn it, and I need to learn fast. And if it was only photo, that was one thing. But then when I started working with him, he added the video, and the video is so much longer to learn. So it was really, really, really challenging. I worked a lot, learned a lot. I almost burned out, and um, and then I rebuilt myself, and now I feel more comfortable because I found a bit my place, and
Mm.
I feel like I start to have enough knowledge to be able to really help him. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And when you said that you got almost burned out, how do you prevent or avoid that this was worst?
I slowed down. Like um, I think I was lucky enough that it was for during COVID.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
so everything slowed down around me. So
Mm.
that's why it was easier. But I spent a year with so much tiredness, um, no more energy, so no more motivation, and like I was crying all the time and just not seeing any solution
Mm.
in
Okay.
the future. So it was very complicated, but I took the time, which was very difficult for me because I'm somebody very um like having three job in one day. It's natural for me. Like if I finish one, I start another one, I start another one. Like I'm very busy. I like it, but at this time I had health issue. I had a lot of issue where I had no choice than slowing down,
Mm.
and mentally it was a bit complicated. But I like um did with that because I had no choice. Just I couldn't see when it would stop. I couldn't
Mm.
see me building myself up again. So, but eventually, because my natural personality is to like uh, not fight, but move forward always, always. I think it just happened.
Okay. And in some part of the document, you said that for you it's really important to communicate as much as possible with your clients, so you make sure that you are on the same page. Um, do you have any experience where you were maybe the client or the service provider where that was not the case, where there were not good communication?
Um, I have experience where, as a service provider, we didn't understand the clients, but um, notice it on the way. So I don't think he realized that we didn't understand him because we catched up after.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I notice it a lot because already my partner and I, every time we go in a meeting with a client, both of us, we don't understand the same thing.
Mm,
And I think it's very, very subjective, and it's more in French because the vocabulary can be perceived one way or another depending on the person.
yeah.
I think it's less like that in English. I think English has better words to describe more precisely, but in French, like everything could be understood in two directions.
Okay.
It's very complicated. And yeah, there are many, many situations where after we talk with my partner and we're like, no, he didn't say that. He say that. And he's like, no, he meant that. I'm like, and then we ask back.
Mm-hmm.
And so this, and otherwise we try to work with freelancers,
Mm-hmm.
and um I wouldn't say they didn't understand what we said, but I noticed it's very complicated to explain when you have an idea in mind, especially when it's a creative one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because the image is only in your head.
Yeah.
And describing and this is also why we like to work together with my partner. That's what happened at the beginning, being two brought three ideas because there's what his idea, my idea, and the idea of together.
Mm.
And that's why also I started um take like learning how to take pictures, because every time I was telling him, oh, we should do this and that, he would interpret what I was saying and try to do it as he
Mm.
understood, but it was never what I saw.
Yeah.
So, which is interesting because it was also interesting,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not what I had in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can never be 100% precise with the creative things. But I think that's also why you work with creatives so they can interpret. So we are
Yeah.
lucky enough to have clients that don't expect something too precise. They trust us and always happy with what we give them. Um, but yeah, that's why for me, yeah, I think communication is important. Yes, we had one, not issue, but we had a client, we prepared a mood board, we explained everything, like the beginning would be like that, examples, this, then like that, examples. But I think they didn't read the brief
Oh.
and they didn't have time and they were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then when we showed them, they felt the first part, they felt not connected with the first part. It was
Mm.
too different to their personality. But this client was like a um, exchange of services, not
Okay.
paid clients. They didn't came to us with an idea. Like we offer them like, oh, hey, we would like to your products. Would you like some photos and videos in exchange? were interested, but they were like busy, didn't have time at all to think of what they would need.
Mm,
So we chose it. But also we took it as an exercise for us to shoot something we never did before. But we explained it in the brief.
mm,
It wasn't too much of an issue because we could just remove that part they were not comfortable with. But then that's also a problem of communication.
yeah, yeah. Okay. You mentioned when I asked you about some courses or training that maybe they are not related. You mentioned that you like to see like shows about creativity and things like that.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so during my work with my partner, we had more and more assignments and always in the same fields, very, very similar stuff every year. And he was like, sometimes there were so many shootings that he was like out of energy of ideas and stuff. So myself, I'm not a creative at the beginning. I'm, like I said, organized, structure, and everything. And when I saw the lack of creativity on the other side, I was like, okay, how can I fuel this? And then how can I come up with ideas? And then I realized that creativity can be trained. Um, it has to be nourished, and it comes. And I found it super interesting, and I realized that actually having passion, activities, hobbies, that's what will nourish your creativity for your work. Because before I was only just working, working, working. This was my passion, working. And I realized it's not working actually in the creativity work.
Yeah.
So so I started doing other stuff, and I think it's even more interesting to do stuff that are not at all in your field, and you because it's hard to look at stuff that are made in your field and try to come up with something new that hasn't been made, but being
Yeah.
in a different field, seeing an idea and like you link it to your words and it creates something else.
Mm.
So I think it's easier this way. And then I so I only have Netflix, and I started watching um a makeup show, which I'm not at all into makeup. And
I
I
did
got,
too, actually.
yeah, the glow up
Yeah,
show
they
made
are
it
artists.
blow my mind.
Yeah.
Even my boyfriend, like I was watching, he was just in the same room, and he even like sat and started watching, and he was like really drawn to it. And I think so I like the first few seasons better than the last one, I think. But I think it blew my mind how they have an idea and how they express it.
Mm,
This is for me a totally new world. I was never creative, and I didn't think I would be. So to me, it was one person is a creative and the other one is not. It's like something natural. You have it or you don't. And I realized that you can build it
mm.
actually.
And when you were a child, you were interested in some creativity, creation in some way or another?
Mm, I don't think so. I was always bored. I was not like bored, like I always needed somebody to play with me, to give me stuff to do. I was not creative by myself. I
Mhm.
couldn't keep myself busy on my own. Um, no, I'm not a dreamer. I'm not creative in this way.
Okay. And you mentioned that for nurturing your creativity is interesting to do things that are related to what you do. So how now are you nurturing your creativity in general?
So I'm lacking a bit of time, I would say, but so I started getting interested in some magazines that are a bit outdoor, but they have a work on the graphism that I really like.
Mhm.
Then obviously the longboard dancing stuff is not related to my work, but something I really like. And then a few shows like that, everything I see out and yeah, about creating stuff. I don't know if you saw that show also with the fashion on Netflix as well. They have to create outfits
Mhm. I didn't.
through a theme. It's a bit the same, same process as Glow Up a little bit, and I found it interesting to have those two shows and see in a different um departments. Like one is makeup, one
Mm.
is like sewing stuff with the material. Um, yeah, I really like that. Then, uh, what else would I do for creativity? I think also I used to watch a lot of stuff on outdoor contents because
Mhm.
this is what we need to produce. But now I would look at contents in very different fields as well.
Mhm.
Um, well, to be honest, really everything I like to do now, I just go for it. Yeah, or even if things I don't know. And that's also what I like with our work. We get to meet people and spend more time with them. So they explain to us everything. Like we work with farmers. It's not creative, but I really like um, their way of living, their way of working, their way of caring about the animals. Like you get really to spend longer time with people and understand what they do, how they do it, what they think. That's the part of the job I really like.
Mm. Okay, so the next step will be I'm going to ask you to create a short version of your story, sharing. I am going to highlight some of the points that I think could be interesting, and you can write down this version of your story. You will send it to me, and then I'll send you the feedback. And
Yes.
based on our conversation, I would say that there are several moments. One of them is like you hiding in pictures as a child, versus you being a model, and how you
Yes.
understand people being not comfortable in front of the camera. I think that's a topic that could be interesting and resonate with your audience. Then how working with your partner has showed you how to work with big brands, um, and things that you are converting into your work with the entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I will mention how you already study product management for this industry, and that's because of your personality, and you can bring that also to the topic. And I would say, bringing the topic of the longboard dancing, here I would say that you can connect with the creativity or with the idea of getting help from someone. So you are someone get helping the entrepreneurs in that, because they are not used to that, and how for you first thought that I'm this is not for me, but then you got the help, and then you can do that, and you are now doing it. So
Yeah.
I think that could be also
Yeah. Yeah.
connected.
It's very interesting. The thing I didn't mention and we didn't talk about is that I'm a traveler.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was. Maybe I'm not that much like now. I just spread my time between the mountains and the seaside, which are a bit of my two homes. But before, like for 10 years, I was just living in my suitcase. I went
Mm-hmm.
abroad a lot, and my that's I don't know if you went on my website, but I already tried to tell a little story about me,
Yeah.
and I related to my grandmother, who was Austrian and where I used to go all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big part of me, and probably also nourishing creativity or maybe understanding people is also because I traveled, but I stayed longer in places like 6 months, 1 year, and I really try to understand the culture. I am curious about that. So I think that's also something
Yeah.
that is important. Maybe I didn't talk to about it because since I started working with my partner, I was so busy that we didn't travel as much.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but that's how I grew into adult doing that. So it's
Yeah.
also very strong in me.
Yeah, and this super nice the connection between being traveling and be understanding people and listening to people so you understand them and you can communicate and be
Yes,
sure.
trying to at least.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, that's I think that's important. So yeah, yeah, I totally agree that that's a good an important one.
Yeah. And
And
also because the
yeah,
cultures are so different,
yeah,
and way of acting of people is really so personal. It's
yeah.
not two person the same.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you need to, when you travel, you need to pay attention to details to understand the situation. And I think that's something
Yeah.
similar when you are working with your camera
Yes.
because you need to pay
Yes.
attention to
Yes.
the details. Yeah,
Yeah. Fit in. Like when you're abroad, you try to fit in. Yeah.
yeah,
And when you are on an event with the camera, you just try to for people not to notice you. And yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's good. And then another one that I would like to also mention is the feedback of this friend of yours, this psychologist, uh, the
Yes.
client, when the client said that they choose them because of the picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
think that's a big moment because I guess that was a realization that how powerful can be one of these retreats and that, I guess. Can you tell me a
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
more about that?
Oh, well, I think it was the first, it's my best friend, and this is the first thing I did for my portfolio. I wanted to make picture, and she was opening her cabinet, so her place, and her starting her business. And she's like, okay, I need photos, so okay, let's just go for it. And um, so we made portraits, and she told me that because yeah, she knew it's important to have this kind of feedback, but um, she's black woman,
Hmm.
and she was looking for a job for a long time, and every time she was like uh, arriving through finals, but never getting the job.
Okay.
And um, I think where I live, this was probably uh, an issue for her to not find a work. And she told me, do you think I should put a photo of me on my, I don't know, business cards or website or not?
Hmm.
And I told her yes, because if people come to the place and they don't expect a black woman, they would have a um surprise, but which is not necessarily good surprise. It's a strong feeling when
Hmm.
you're surprised like that. And rather than, I know maybe she will get less client at the beginning, but the one that will come, they will not care about it. And so because on the voice you cannot hear it. She grew up here, so she's all like a local, just just she has black skin, and most people are very surprised, sometimes a bit close-minded. And when I think when you have a strong feeling, even though after the meeting is really well because she's like good at what she's doing and everything, but they would have like a bad emotion that
Mm.
was strong. So
Mhm.
so for me, I told her, yes, put your picture. It's good, people. And also, as a psychologist, for me, when I choose, I have a feelings for a photo and through a phone call for appointments. And it's very important because you go for personal matters and you need to
Mm.
feel good with the person. And yeah, so when she was asking a little bit at the beginning how people knew her and why they were coming to her place, so she would adjust the communication. And when yeah, somebody told her that they were choosing by the photo, so I think that was super cool.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, and I think here is also important how relevant is the picture for building that trust, because when you see some person, you are going to have a reaction just by looking at the picture, and it's going to start building that trust even if you haven't speak to that person or you haven't heard their voice or
Yes,
anything.
there
So
is already so much emotion that goes through the photos, I think.
mm, yeah, so I think that's also something interesting to mention and to try to do it. And also for you to know is that this exercise is not doesn't need to be something that you are going to public like that, but you
Yeah.
are you can do it. It's just an inner exercise to connect all the different dots between your
Yes.
story and your what you do and what you
Work.
offer.
Yeah.
So it's like for having more clarity on how those can be connected. And then what has happened in the past is some of my clients they use as maybe the whole thing as a whole thing, but then also maybe just sharing one of the elements of the story and going deeper into what is connected to the service or to what they do. So one of my clients, she told that it is like building blocks. So now she has like different small stories and she can put them together in different ways. So this is an
Yes.
exercise for training that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think it was very, very interesting to see how to connect the person's experience to the professional. Because usually you think one, you think the other one, but you don't see how to put them together. I really liked it. Yeah. And I think now I see many different stuff to connect. So that's cool.
mm, thank you. And I love that you mentioned that because that's one of the things that I like that after the session, then you get like trained to do yourself this kind of connection and you
Yes.
start seeing more things
Yes.
to that can be used in your communication or bring
Yeah.
into to
That's
so that's good.
another way of thinking. Yeah, I really, really like it. It's very powerful. Also, communication, written and everything is it's powerful, but it's very big to learn and understand. It's really, and sometimes you get the thing, but you don't know how to do it really. So that's really cool. Because for me, I did the website uh two 2 or 3 years ago, like just like that, didn't really know. And I was already very happy about what I wrote because it was quite complicated.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I read it and yeah, I like the story. But I forgot to write down some notes about asking you, and that's
Ah.
why I didn't mention because Yeah, I read and it's like, yeah, this is pretty cool about your grandma and
Yeah.
your connection with the mountains and all that. Yeah, that's good.
For me, what is really difficult is that I have so many different stuff. Like it's like I had several lives in one, and sometimes I want to say too much. And for this writing, also I gave a story. It's not exactly like that, but sometimes you need to story tell something,
Mhm.
and you also need to give up a few. That was my problem, and that I understand with creativity is that as I'm somebody super organized and structured, I'm always super um um not involved, but for me, telling the truth and the exact truth is
Mhm.
super important. And but in creativity, if it doesn't serve the story, then you need to alter it a little bit, as long as the big message is the same. And that's what I learned, to let go of the exact truth
Mm.
to tell the story better. That's something new.
Yeah, yeah, you can think about this, like, for example, when you are selling something to a person and a different person. Let's say you are telling something to a child and then to an adult and then to someone old. Maybe you are telling the same news in a different way so they can interpret what you want to tell them. So
Yes.
it's the same truth, it's just you are changing the way that you articulate that thought so they can get
Yeah.
it better. So it's finding a way to articulate that idea that you want to share. But I understand your point of being super, like, yeah,
It's
trying to be organized and what is truth or what is changing
yeah,
things and that. So it's,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
understand that point. Hmm.
But
Okay.
yeah, I'm trying to understand and go in that direction.
Nice. And yeah, and I like that idea that of the exact truth for when you are trying to make pictures of someone as a, let's say, personal brand. You are you, but you are also the face of your business. And this is something that I have to deal with as well, because people think that they need to build a persona that is the version of
Mm,
themselves but not themselves, and how to combine like your personal you and the one that is doing the brand. So you don't need to pretend to be someone else, but you are the one choosing what to share or where you put the boundary for your privacy. And you are still you, because it's like the most important part is your values. Oh, we didn't mention that because that was one of the elements, asking for your values. Now that we have talked,
oh, yeah.
what is something really important to you? I don't know, it can be this exact truth or what, but something really important to you that you will stand for, that you will like, that you don't like to work with people that doesn't have those values.
Um, for me, what's the words? Let me check the word. Justice, same. Justice, like I like when it's fair. I don't like
Mm,
when people try to sell stuff just for the sake of selling stuff.
mm.
Um, what else? Mm, I think in the business that will be, I'm always struggling with what are the values. I'm mixed up with different stuff. Um,
In general, I would say something that is important to you, even if I know that when you search for values, it can be some specific, but I go to the just more organic way, and I ask just something that you is really important to you, not just for you when you
Yeah,
provide, but when you receive.
I think yeah, so what I said, like uh something that is true and worth it, not just for the money
Mm,
or and also for example, I had to work with somebody that is probably hyperactive or something, and she's always doing something, but always doing something new, and and all the time she um um, how to say in English? She choose to um lessen the quality to finish it, and that's not my value. I know sometimes we work too much for it to be good, and sometimes it's too much, too long. But she's the opposite, and when I see the result of what she does, I'm like, this is
mm,
not possible.
okay.
So yeah, because but yeah, when you listen, she does many different projects. She works a lot and everything, but I think she doesn't have the patience to go in details, and I think it lacks a little bit. So then it's not how I work, and I don't feel aligned.
Mm,
That would be the issue
yeah,
then.
I think that's related to being fair, because for you it's not
Yeah,
fair
probably. Yeah.
to provide something that is not enough, doesn't have enough quality, no?
Yeah. I
Related
think,
to that.
yeah. It's probably, yeah, the same way. Yeah, I think fair is really. Then I would love to work more with brands and or organization that work towards innovation, sustainability,
Mm,
stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be only that. But for sure, yeah, I like to be involved in the stuff. Um, I think that would be the biggest thing.
mhm. Okay, okay, good. Okay, so next steps, I'm going to, is going to be probably tomorrow. I'm going to
Yeah.
send you like the notes of the session and the recording, and then
Yes.
also my suggestions of the what are the story connectors. I call story connectors the element of the story that are connected
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
what you said, and then also some suggestions of how you can use those stories and those elements when you implement your promotion. And for you, the next step when you receive that will be create this short story and then send it to me, and I will give you the feedback about this.
Mm-hmm.
And my suggestion on maybe you can incorporate something else or not. And yeah, that's it. And after this is finished, I will send you a survey asking for your feedback.
Yeah,
um
sure.
yeah, do
And
you have
also,
a question?
you,
Yeah.
yeah, you wrote uh could be used for like podcast presentation and stuff, and that's why I wrote that I would like to create. I'm in the process of preparing a podcast. I explain about passion. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is also connected to community a little bit. What I experienced, maybe it's not creativity, but that's something I experienced lately, and I find, especially for longboard dancing, when you talk about it, people are like, "Oh, I'm too old to this or to that,"
Mm,
and actually, it is possible to start it at any age. So yeah, and how it really empowered to actually go for it and have
mm,
it in our life. Also, we live well. So I think I explained everything written in the document. But I was thinking, should I start thinking of like the presentation of that podcast?
Mhm.
Because I don't know, it's not really business related, so I don't know. Like, yeah, I do so many different stuff that I don't know how to present myself, not talking for half an hour. And
Yeah, I understand the point. But I think um, in that case, I will bring, like, I will introduce myself as a photographer and a creative person because you are, and also bring the experience of the longboard dancing as you are not too old to try anything because you learn longboard
yeah, yeah, yeah.
dancing, but also photography. And you
Oh
were,
yeah, and so many other things. I'm learning ski. I learned snowboard at 23. I have many examples. Started learning
so
Spanish at 20. Yeah.
so you can bring all that into the same
I think this
combining
is a
those. Yeah.
super good, like now I see how, because I listen a lot to podcasts. I like it when I edit photos, and every time I'm like, wow, that's a cool intro. I'm like, but how did they came up with that? It's super complicated to summarize, has impactful sentences related to something personal, so the person right away have a sense of you and your life, but not make it too long. It's
Mm.
like and boring. It's very complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why also this exercise of combining those pieces of the
Yeah,
story, because that's going to force you to combine those in a short version, because that's the idea.
yeah,
And
yeah,
for example, let's say you are putting together in the same sentence how you were hiding from the pictures when you were a child, go into a model, and now you understand your client as a photographer. So you have there like three moments of your story in a short
yeah,
sentence.
yeah,
When you need to combine those, that's bringing you
yeah.
ideas of how to make them connected.
That's awesome. I really like it. Thank you so much. I
Thank
really like
you.
see a new perspective.
That's lovely. Thank you so much. Yeah, just I'll send you the all the assets, and
Yes.
of course, if you got any question, just let me know. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Yes.
See you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.